Up next on The Bottom Line, 3 streets of Potomac are renamed for African American community leaders.
You know, she's been gone for a few years, but hey, we can come here and just see her name.
A new partnership to end hunger.
This signifies so much of what this community right now needs.
Leaders rally residents to make their voices heard for an early voting site in White Oak.
This is not a Montgomery County issue. This is actually a national issue.
And remembering our county employees who lost their lives to COVID-19. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Susan Kenedy. 3 streets in Montgomery County named after Confederates have officially been renamed. This after a request led by Councilmember Andrew Friedson to change the street names that do not reflect the county's values.
Well, we're officially replacing the street signs that were officially renamed from 2 Confederate generals. We're naming them for 2 really important historical members of our community, Geneva Mason and William Dove. William Dove was founder and landowner of Scotland Community.
Hey! This is huge. I mean, growing up in this area, we've always heard about William Dove. We can now see this being changed. It's absolutely amazing.
Thank you, baby. Thank you. Thank you. Great, baby. I coached him in high school.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he and I have had discussions about my family being erected in Potomac and getting some notoriety. And he helped make it happen.
And Geneva Mason, who was one of that community's most important, most significant advocates.
Perfect. I mean, this is incredible. Who would have known? Who would have known? After all of her struggles, all of the things that she went through, that we would come to a place to see these 2 incredible signs.
I think this is great. And getting rid of Jeb Stewart, geez.
As we dismantle the structures of institutional racism, we're also changing the symbols that normalize institutional racism, like street names.
Also give some recognition to the African American community in Potomac, so that we're one big happy family.
You know, one of her sayings have always been, she feels that when you work for this community, then your work doesn't go in vain.
And today it won't go in vain. She'll have a street named after her.
Right, she'll be here. You know, she's been gone for a few years, but hey, we can come here and just see her name, you know?
In my ways, on my way here today, it said Geneva Mason. So it's already changed automatically. So, yeah. The only person who can make it happen that quickly is Geneva Mason.
There are 19 locations in Montgomery County currently being considered for a new early voting site. In the east part of the county, leaders are urging the Board of Elections to consider putting one of those sites in White Oak.
So we are here to celebrate democracy and the expansion of early voting to Montgomery County, and to come together once again to advocate for an early voting center at White Oak.
Local leaders from across the county are urging residents to make their voices heard for a new early voting site in White Oak. This year, the county is eligible for 2 new early voting sites, but where those sites will be has not yet been determined. Council President Tom Hucker says White Oak is a common sense choice.
But we know that not every voter has the same ease of access to cast their ballot. Waiting in long lines discourages people from voting. It undermines confidence in the electoral system, and it imposes economic costs on voters. This is not a Montgomery County issue. This is actually a national issue. So it's our responsibility to do everything we can in our state, in our community, to strengthen voting access for all.
Leaders have been advocating for a site in White Oak for several years.
And that we demand an early voting site in White Oak, okay?
In 2019, the Republican-controlled Board of Elections rejected an early voting site in White Oak. The community is majority-minority, and 35% of its residents don't own a car. Leaders say accessibility should be a key factor in this upcoming decision.
Bringing a voting center here.
One in trunk?
Trunk, okay. Bringing the food distribution that we did and worked with Giroux and Recreation here to White Oak. That has material difference. It tells people not only that you have the right, but you must exercise it. You matter to us. We care. Putting that field out there that we worked for years for, that all sends those signals.
Here in Maryland, we are not Texas. We are not Georgia. We are not Florida. We are Maryland, and we are Montgomery County, where we respect and want every single person to vote. That is what makes us different than every other jurisdiction.
The Board of Elections will hold a public hearing on the proposed early voting center sites on September 18th at 10 a.m., with a final vote scheduled for October 18th. For more information on the proposal, visit the Board of Elections webpage. Montgomery County has partnered with nonprofit Feed the Fridge, Mary Center, the private sector, and neighboring jurisdictions in an innovative way to help end hunger among its residents. Mershai Salou has the story.
2, 3, go!
A new alliance has been established in Montgomery County to help end hunger among its residents while supporting local businesses that will help prepare food that will be available and ready to eat at no cost.
It is really a privilege to be here today with this alliances and partnerships that we have here with the private sector and the public sector that have committed themselves to end hunger. Feed the Fridge is a program that is in reality is small, but it signifies so much of what this community right now needs.
The nonprofit organization Feed the Fridge, or Fill the Refrigerator, hand in hand with Mary's Center and Montgomery County and the contribution of the private sector, have joined forces in an innovative way to offer another alternative that promises to combat the food insecurity in Montgomery County and other neighboring jurisdictions.
This kind of partnership is so important. When our private sector comes together with our government and our community-based organizations to creatively solve the needs of our residents, it is really a win-win for everyone.
From now on, a new refrigerator will be loaded with food at Mary's Center, located at 344 University Boulevard West in Silver Spring. This particular locality will partner with the Jalapeno Mexican Grill of Crossroads Community Food Network's Community Kitchen to provide meals to those in need.
It's very important for us, the food that we get here, and we are really appreciated. What are you doing for us? And it's really impressive.
Feed the Fridge has placed food coolers in recreation centers, schools, and elsewhere in the District of Columbia, Prince George's County, and now Montgomery County. They pay area restaurants to stock them daily with delicious and nutritious meals. Anyone can come to eat, no questions asked. Feed the Fridge is a unique approach that helps the local economy and above all will ensure that many can sleep with their stomachs full. Reporting from Silver Spring, I'm Mershai Salou.
There were more than 1,500 county residents who lost their lives to COVID-19, including 5 Montgomery County employees. This month, the council took time to honor those individuals who gave their lives to public service. Blanca Kling was just 17 years old when she left her home country of Bolivia and moved to Maryland, the first in her family to migrate to the United States. She attended Bethesda Chevy Chase High School and Montgomery College. A dedicated county employee who spent more than 40 years serving the Montgomery County Police Department, Blanca began her career in 1980 as a victim assistant in Wheaton's 4th District, a job that took her to crime scenes and victims' homes. As more Spanish speakers moved into Montgomery County in the 80s, Blanca began volunteering almost daily at community centers to connect new immigrants with social services. She transitioned into working in the Public Information Division of the department in 2005. It was in that role that she strengthened communication between the police and Hispanic community members. Kling, who was affectionately known as Blanquita, became a familiar face in the Hispanic community, hosting town hall meetings, appearing on Spanish television, and assisting investigators when they needed her. She embraced all of these roles with grace and compassion while making deep connections in the community. Blanca Kling leaves behind Tony, her husband of more than 40 years, daughter Lizzie, son Jason, daughter-in-law Rachel, and twin grandsons Noah and Matthias. David Mitchell Allen was born on September 13, 1969 in Baltimore, Maryland. He joined Montgomery County in 2004 as a senior IT specialist in the Department of Technology Services. Over the course of his distinguished career, Dave worked as a project manager on a number of important projects, including the public safety systems and integrated justice systems modernization efforts. He was known for his strong work ethic, leadership skills, and dry sense of humor. He was smart, enthusiastic, and he loved to solve problems, especially the technical ones. Dave loved Nationals baseball, riding his bike, and dogs. He shined in his role as husband and father. Dave Allen leaves behind his beloved wife Jenny and daughter Yumi. Lenore Dove began her career in the Department of Recreation in the late 1980s as a summer camp director. In 2012, Lenore became a full-time employee in recreation where she worked in financial operations. Even as she moved on professionally and in her personal life, she remained an anchor in the Scotland community and worked diligently to support and bring opportunities to the neighborhood. Lenore had a smile that could light up any space and a heart full of joy and passion for her family and for her colleagues who were like family to her. She could be counted on to always help any staff member who asked. Lenore was known to drop everything, look up with a smile, and then tackle the project. She was a coach, a mentor, a friend, and a mad bingo player. Above all else, Lenore's family was her whole life. She cherished her time with her family and loved ones and lovingly included her recreation teammates in her family unit. While Lenore experienced some health concerns, COVID-19 served as an unexpected coda to her life. She fought the disease quietly, tirelessly, sadly, as her family could not be there to comfort her. Lenore Dove passed away due to complications of COVID-19 on June 6, 2020. In 2011, Michael Miller began working for Montgomery County as a ride-on bus operator and moved on to become a motor pool operator at the Silver Spring Depot. He took pride in his work and would always have a smile on his face. He was a dedicated employee. His wife Donna often joked that he spent more time at the depot than he did at home. Outside work, Michael was heavily involved in the fraternal organizations Prince Hall Masonry and the Shriners, where he volunteered at soup kitchens and helped to host charitable events. Every year for DOT's Given Ride Week, Michael would come to the depot the weekend before to personally outfit the 140 buses with bags for donations, and he also collected the donations for area food banks. Michael enjoyed watching movies, dancing, backyard barbecues, a good cigar, but his greatest enjoyment was camping with his family. He was affectionately known as Rock. He was truly the rock of his family or to anyone who needed assistance. Once he considered you a friend, it was forever. Michael Miller is survived by his wife of 31 years, Donna, sons Joshua and Jonathan, an adopted daughter, Demetrius, and 3 granddaughters, Markia, Brittany, and Logan. Melvin Ransom started working for Montgomery County in 1989 as a ride-on bus operator. He became a shop steward after just a few short years and was an active member of UFCW Local 1994, the Montgomery County Government Employees Organization. In 2006, he was elected to the executive board and ultimately rose to the office of recorder, a position he held until November 30th of 2020. Melvin was a fierce warrior for the entire labor movement, fighting on the front lines of dozens of battles across the country, continually pushing for social and economic justice for all working families. Melvin was the union's point person for over 1,000 of its members, including Ride-On, DGS, Fire and Rescue, and other members in the union. He was beloved by all. His dedication and commitment to his union family was always at the forefront. Melvin never shied away from lending a helping hand, a kind ear, a friendly handshake, or a big bear hug. One of Melvin's biggest strengths was his amazing ability to connect with everyone he met despite any difference that may have existed. In his passing, the labor movement has lost a giant. Nelvin Ransom was preceded in death by his wife Lenora. He leaves behind a number of family members and a wide swath of friends.